So the bottom of Ches Amud base. Amar Rebbe Elazar. Amar Pesach Pusuch Masati Ne'eman La'asra Alav. So he says, I found a Pesach Pasuach. So he's Ne'eman to forbid her to him. Now again, this is a bit of a strange language. He's forbidding her to him. What does it mean? He's Ne'eman. So Rashi, the tainas damim ein lo. So why is he saying Pesach Pasuch Masati, that I found an opening, but he didn't say I didn't find dam? So Rashi here says that kagon shahaya mishpachas dorkati she'ein lehem dam. So they have certain women, certain families, they don't have dam bechal, therefore there's no tainas dam. So you can't go to basin the next day with the tainas dam. So therefore, you're making a Pesach Pasuach. Now it's mashma from the Rashi that if you did have a tainas dam, then you wouldn't be Ne'eman. So we say later on, or should avda mimenu hamapa, so that he did a test for the dam with the mappa, and then he lost the mappa. Therefore, he has no tainas dam. He doesn't know if there was dam or not. However, he knows that it was Pesach Pasuach. V'lo yada im haya dam im lav. So with the mappa, he doesn't know if there was blood or not. With the mishpachas dorkati, there wasn't any blood because they don't have blood. Valzus berura lo shpesach pasuach matzah, but for sure he found a pesach pasuach. Now what exactly is a pesach pasuach? So we have a look at. So we have the Shulchan Aruch already here. So the guy goes in there and he feels with his aver what's going on with this woman, and he's saying, oh yeah, I know what's going on here. So here in the brackets in the Shulchan Aruch, it says that you can only make this tainas Pesach Pasuach if you've already been married before. But a bachur, he can't make that tainas, because how the hell is a bachur gonna know what's going on down there? And he's like, oh yeah, I've had my ways with many pesachs, and I know that this pesach is pesuach. If a bachur tainas is a pesach pesuach, then you give him makos. So since he wasn't married, therefore either he's just making this up, or where did he get his bikiyas from? It says here, so it talks about if he found dam, im matzah dam. If he found dam, he's not able to say petach pasuach if he found dam. Now the Chalkas Mahokek, a guy, he's in Ebenezer, he's on the side. So we have 3 or 4 days where you say that it's the dam, that's a dam basulim. If you see dam, you toilet it on the dam basulim. So therefore, even if you have a pesach basuach, you still have dam. So therefore, why are we saying? So toilet meaning that even if it's a like dam from the sides, or any dam you see, you say that it's dam basulim. Im came my raya who had dam shalo nivla mikodim. So therefore, what's the raya from the dam that she hadn't had bia before? Because if she had bia the previous night before the wedding, and now whether she so if you had dam, you can't say pesach pasuach mitzati. But who cares if you found dam, because maybe she was nivla before the wedding. You still have dam because all the blood you say they're dam basulim for 4 nights. So again, what is this pesach pasuach? That if there is dam, then it's not completely open. Upirtza dachoka karilas. We had this before, that you had this tight opening, that like when you're going into like a cave or something, and then there's a tight opening, and then the stones are falling as you're trying to go get into the cave. But Gemara, Akorach kol ones yesh dam any echol eton pesach pasuach. Devadai toya or hita. So the pesach pasuach that the basulim are holding the canal together. So when you clean up all the basulim, then it's a kind of revach, and there's a space for the canal, and therefore, if you're down in there, that there's no pesach. When you're down, it's pesuach because there's no basulim. So the tiniest basulim in the pesach pesuach is kind of a similar din. However, Rashi is telling you that you don't have a tiniest basulim, a tiniest dam here. So if you have the mappa, so you can say, I don't know if there was dam or not, but it was the pesach pesuach because the dam. That's what the Hechel is saying. That the dam is machish, is keneged your taina of pesach pesuach, because once there's basulim there, it's not so tight. It's not so. The basulim are still holding it together, and it's not a tightness of pesach pesuach. So here you have that he says the pesach pesuach, so therefore there is no basulim holding things together. So why did he not say that I didn't find any dam? So Rashi says that either she doesn't have dam, or so it could be she has basulim and not dam in this family, to see daf yud, or that they had the mappa, and the mappa you lost it, so I tested for blood, but I lost the test, so therefore I don't know if there was blood or not. So therefore I'm tying pesach pesuach, and again the Shulchan Aruch says he has to be married already. But we'll see what Rashi says. So Ne'eman la'asur alav. So he's believed to asur her on her. Afal pi she'eina davar hazeh yichol le'isbarer. So you can't have this being misbarer. So we have a bit of a callback to, again, Rashi said at the beginning of the Gemara, what's the whole point of going to Beis Din? Is that you go to Beis Din, is that you get married on Wednesday. If you have a taina, so therefore you'll go to Beis Din, and then the Eidim will come amavar the Safek. That's how Rashi explained it. But here, afal pi she'eina davar hazeh yichol isbarer ela al piv. So there's no way that the Eidim can't come, and we won't know what the truth is going to be. He's saying there's a pesach pesuach. We don't. Maybe there was dam. He lost the mappa, so we don't know. The gabay nafshe having mehemnin. So he's believed by according to himself the shavei aleas to make her a chaticha, a piece of a surah. So it continues avale hefsedo kasuva lo mehemnin, but to make her lose the kasuva, she's not believed. So therefore, you see clearly in Rashi that he is trying to make her lose the kasuva. Why is he going to Beis Din? He's not trying to asur her because the Eidim aren't going to come. He's trying to make her lose the kasuva. So he goes to Beis Din to lose the kasuva, but he's not believed klape the kasuva. That's a din in Rabbi Eliezer. We'll see later in the Gemara. There's a machlokas in this, but he is believed to asur her on him. So the Gemara says, why is she asur? Sveik sveikahu. It's a sveik sveika. Savak tachtav, savak ein tachtav. Maybe that she had the bia, so she doesn't have basulim. Her pesach is pesuach, but maybe because she had bia before she got married. If she got married, then she's not asur to him. If she had bia before they got married, then she's not asur to him. That's one savak. But in tim seiloimer tachtav. And if you want to say that, so even if you want to say that it happened while they were married, so therefore for sure she's asur, safek ba'oina, safek baratzon. So therefore it's a sveik sveika, which we've dealt with before. It's a sveik sveika and it's mutter. So Rashi, Mr. Alea afilu I mehemnesle denevla. So even if we believe him, so he has this koach of ne'amanis. We're saying that he's like believed. So he's believed. Again, Rashi's talking about mehemnes. He's believed. So why is he believed? Even so, believe him that she had bia. It's still a sveik sveika. So therefore, even though that we believe him, it's still a sveik sveika, and therefore, we are not asuring the shavi aleha chaticha da'asura. We're not doing that because even though we believe him, she's still mutter. Lo tzricha be'eshes kohen. With an eshes kohen, if it's oines, she's still asur to him, so we believe in that she had bia. V'ibasema be'eshes Yisrael. Or it's an Israel, but kagon de kabel ba avua kedushin pachos mi bas gimel. Shannon. So her father mekabel the kedushin when she was under 3, v'yom echad. So the avua de kedushin he mekabeled when she was under 3. So the Rashi Savak Tachtav when she was Mekadesh, then she was Zoyne, so therefore she's Osir. Savak Ein Tachtav, and she's Mutter. Elakodim Shenisra Zinta, so she's Mutter. Savak Ba'oines, even if she was Mekadesh and had be a Unsa Sharia Ba'eshis Yisrael, as we see below, Umehi Lo Nispaso, but she wasn't grabbed. So if she was grabbed, then she would be Oines and Mutter. Be'eshis koin sha'oinus osir ba hilkach chad sveka, who it's chad sveka, therefore we believe him that she was mizana. Pachas me bash gimel shanim, what's happening here? Achshav he gedola. Now she is a gedola upitoi pitoi, and therefore if you mefata her, it's called a mefata. So if she is a katana and you mefata her, it's called oines, because if she was taka a katana. So she got married before she was 3, and she was even if it was barotzon, that's still called an oines for a katana. Therefore, it has to be a gedola, and therefore it's proper pitoi, and therefore it would be barotzon. The eina oines, because if by a katana she's always mutter, because it's always a din of oines, but by the gedola she's not eina oines. Hilchach hatzveke, ika safek oines safek rotzon. That's only the suffix aval, suffix tachtav, suffix ein tachtav, leka. There's no such suffix. She'ilu nivla koidim leken. If she was nivla before they got married, ayi basulim chayzrim, therefore her basulim would return. There wouldn't be any pesach basuach. There would be dam. Kedam meseches nida. Pachus mikan ke noisen etzba ba'ein ha dima. It's like putting your finger in an eye that tears yoitzes v'chazeres, that the tears come out and it all comes back. So we ask on this, Tanieinã. What's the whole point of Rabbi Eliezer Bechlal? And we have a Mishnah. So this is the whole chiddush of what we're learning here, is that Adam is nemal asman la'osr lo. He can osr on him something. It's hamutter, something that is mutter. He's able to use his piv in order to osr it. What's the Mishnah? Isha kadashticha. I was mekadesh to you. But he omeres lo kadashtani, and she says no. You did not mekadesh me. Now here already in the Mishnah, we're not going to do this today. But what's her taina with the pasuk basuach? We say that he says pasuk basuach. We're comparing it here. Well, we don't know what she says. Did she say yes, I was nifla? She says no, I wasn't. Was she just silent? Let's look into what she actually says. But here in the Mishnah, in the Brisa, he omers lo kadeshtani. She says she's kicheshim. He moteris bekiravav. She is mutter to his relatives v'hu also bekiravaseha. But he is also to her relatives. So we see here that is like to Torahs, that there's a separate din. And we don't believe him. We don't believe him, because if we believed him, then she would not be more moteris to his relatives. But he's able to create this ability of this world of Isser, where her relatives are also to him. So, but Alma Ubita, with a woman and a daughter, the Achuta, so her mother, her daughter, her sister, Xatitha Da'isura. So these are the key words that we make for him a chaticha. They are made for him a slice of Isser. So the chaticha of Isser would be a piece of meat that's Isser. So if somebody says something, the classic case would be the case of shchita, which we might see later. The he moteres b'kurvav shehare eino moide b'kedushin. She doesn't believe. Why do we have to say that it was before Adam and then they went away? Why is Rashi picking on here? There's a question that Rashi is touching on, which he's answering here. Why there was so? What's he talking about here? Why is he bringing this up? Then Kedushin, We said that they were Adam, the Adam disappeared. If the Adam disappeared, what use of the Adam? So who cares if there's no Adam when the Adam were there where they disappeared? What's Rashi going on here? So the simple problem that Rashi is getting out of is that there has to be Adam on the Kedushin. If there's no Adam on the Kedushin, there is no Kedushin. Because again, the Adam on Kedushin, which we spoke about before, are Adei Kiyum. They're not Adei Birur, they're Adei Kiyum. There has to be Adam on the Kedushin, otherwise there is no Kedushin. So if you acting as a modern Orthodox cool guy who learnt Masechet Kedushin once, and he says to a girl, Reis Mikudeshesli, with this kind of coke, and she takes it, and now she's gone all from, and she's worried that she's actually married to this guy. So since there's no Adam Bedavar, therefore there's no Kedushin. The Adam are not Adei Birur, they're not there to say if it happened or not. They're there to make it happen. If they're not there, it didn't happen. I think a simple svara as to why that is that because this woman will then be ulcer, you have to have Adam, otherwise she can't be ulcer in secret. There has to be people who actually see that, because now you're going to kill somebody who has anyone who has bia with this woman who Makabel Kedushin is now we're going to kill them. So there has to be, it can't be done in secret, it has to be done in a certain level of beforhesia. The whole thing is whether we need Adei Kiyum for Nesuyin, because she doesn't change her status of Isser if she gets the Nesuyin or not, but she does change her level of Isser. Therefore, by Gittin you need Adei Kiyum, and by Kedushin you need Adei Kiyum. So Rashi here, because of the Adei Kiyum, if you have Adam on it, so therefore, what's the problem? Just ask the Adam what happened. Oh, we had Adam, but they ran away. So she either says there's no Adam, they never happened, and there weren't any Adam, or the guys that were there, they'll tell you it never happened because that's not what we were talking about. So we have this kind of split between that we don't believe him yet he's still able to create an Isser. So, and we already know this is obviously a thing. Rabbi Eliezer is not making this up. Mahu detema hasem devadai kimle. So there, for sure, he knows whether he did kedushin or not. He knows us. Therefore, there we'll say that it's for sure all her karuvs are also to him, because he's saying I did kedushin. Kedushin is something that that if you did or not. V'haka mikem hu delo kimle. He's not. How does he know what's going on here? So he for sure knows that he mikadesh. Yeah. So since he was in the panoi here, Rashi's really saying it's a bochor. The bochor, he doesn't know what he's doing. Ve'eno boki, he's not boki in the ways of the canals. Make him hu delo kimle kasavar shematza pesach batuach. He just thinks that he found a pesach batuach because he doesn't know what he's talking about, because he's a bochor. Ve'eno ken, it's not true. Ve'lo tiaser, and therefore he shouldn't be able to osir her kamash malan. Kamash malan what? Kamash malan, we have two options here. Kamash malan, he is a boki, he knows what he's talking about. Or Kamash malan, even though he doesn't know what he's talking about, she's still also to him. Makes a big nafkamina, which we'll see. So that's the sugya in the Gemara. Again, the Rashi seems to be arguing on the Shulchan Aruch here, the idea of bachor lo, because he seems to be saying that the Gemara is dafka talking about a bachor. So again, this is in a yesh oimrim, but Rashi seems to be learning the Gemara because that's the suffix, and it could be bepashtus that if he's nosoi, therefore, if he's been there before, why is it such a suffix to him? Can he not tell the difference between a pesach b'such or not, since he's been through it before? You could still have married people and have had bias before that they're still not bookies, but they just think this is what's going on, and some pesachs are wider than others, and his experience may not speak out what's going on now. So the Piskei Teshuvos, the Shavi and Afshe. So Ayin b'Shar HaMelech. So the Shar HaMelech is the one of the first people to bring this idea he says in the Rasan, Sha'amru shavi nafshe chittas asura im midin nidre iser nagaba. So why is it? How does this person have the ability to shavi nafshe chaticha asura? So the first pshat and the most simple pshat is it's like a neder. So just like a nazir can make wine usher to him, and he makes a neder of nazir, and wine is mutter. Wine is mutter. Everyone holds his mutter, but for him it's usher. And just like a guy can make a neder. I usher this item to me. Your food. I usher to me. I neder hano. All these type of things. So you can create an isser on yourself through your dibur. So the first pshat is that it's an isser neder. Yafol pish ain't a mamash neder, even though it's not properly a neder. Delesa b'shayla, because it doesn't have. Now the first kasha on it being a neder is that if it's a neder, I should there be able to go to a chacham and get a matter neder. If I can't get a matter neder, so therefore it's not really a neder. So like hachamru b'chachamim kamo. What is this? I'm not sure what this is. What they are machmer there, but why can't he have a shaila? Because they're hachmer him oreinu elamidin hoida or hoidas baldin, or it's like hoidas baldin. So these are our two kind of options. That it's hoidas baldin, or it's midin neder. So Nodea Biyehuda asks questions on neder. So Masharitza lachadish. The ma'at amrin shavi nafshe chadis humitam neder v'koinam. So koinam is a lotion of neder which you bring. Koinam will offer something to you. Hine b'mechila makavoide yirisi mitoch pilpolo. To give kavod, you have to give me mechila on his kavod that he's a gavar, he's a big man, and he's charif, and he's a baki, and his seichel is good and straight. What did he see with this shtus? Why is he talking about this shtus that it's a neder? Ve'im kira davar b'teshuvas mahared. He sees till this amro hala mevi rak baloshin ve'ein loimer v'dachu. He's just saying it, but he push it away. And when brin shechin eina davar miskabel. Even with that, it's just completely unintelligible. It's a neder. Ve'eza neder, ve'eza loshen shavua, or kunim yeshkan. So in the Darim, when you want to make a neder, you have to use a loshen of neder. You have to use a loshen of koinim. You have to loshen of shavua. And here, if you say pesach pasuch masati, there's no loshen of neder. So that's the first kasha on the din of neder. Or b'ma matpis. When you do a koinim, you see like this. Your food would be also to me like this korban, and you hold a korban, and therefore you have a hatpasa. So if somebody says on Tuesday, on Yom Sheni b'Shabbos, on Monday, Shahayom Shabbos. So according to that, if it's a din neder, yasser b'malacha mitam neder. So here's Nodea Biyehuda saying that if somebody just says, oh, today's Shabbos, therefore he should be shavi nafshi chaticha da'asura. He's also today on him like an isser, and we see there's no such things are true. In Kedarav Eichamer, we'll see how it's not true. Kakad Rabbi Kiva say to Rabbi Yeshua, sheyelech etzel Rabban Gamliel b'Yom Kippur shechaliyot b'cheshbono. So in the Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah, they have a maklokas on when the day is, and he says, on your Yom Kippur, come over to me and break your Yom Kippur. And if it was really that you're able to just alter things like a neder, once you say today's Yom Kippur, even though it isn't according to everyone else, so you made yourself an isser, mitam neder. Elevadai kol zeh shtus. So we had, there's no loshen neder, and you don't just usher things stam on you. And we also saw that there's no heter nedarim. So there's three kashas on why neder doesn't work. So he has this ne'emanus. Adam ne'eman al atzmo yotzer mishnei edim. So you have a maklokas as to whether you have two people. When you have keneged edim, we have the point that if you have Adam ne'eman al atzmo, if he's only ne'eman, so if it's midin neder, if you're against edim, then the edim shouldn't make a difference, because if I say that if I take a neder to be a nozir, and two edim say that this is wine, that wine is mutter, it's still usher to me. So the neder should make a difference for the edim. But if it's edim are telling me that it's mutter, the fact that I'm ne'eman, but two edim are ne'eman more for me. So shnei edim achishanotoi gam zeh shtos ve'adam ne'eman alatzmo yotzer mishnei edim. So he says that he's ne'eman on himself more than two edim. That's more than 100 edim. That's really a din in Mammon. We learn that in a din in Mammon, but is it also true by Yisurim? So therefore, if you say on a Monday is Shabbos, you're not ne'eman because it's something that can't be. Or Yom Kippur, because you have no ne'emanis that today is Tuesday, that today is Shabbos, because today is not Shabbos and there's no suffix bedover. If there's something that can be made that can be mittel a suffix, and that edim can come and give edus on it, so therefore there you can give edus on yourself and also something to yourself. So the nodda Yehuda kind of chucks out the idea that it's on a neder, and that it's because you're believed on yourself. So Moshe Feinstein here, he brings down, and again this is going to be most poiskim. So that the reason of that shavi nafshi chita da'asura is because Adam ne'eman al atzmo kedechtiv the Ketzois. So the Ketzois was big on this. It poskin in that it's ne'eman al atzmo. Moshe Feinstein's poskin is ne'eman al atzmo. Most poiskin hold not midin neder but midin ne'emanus. Also because again it's very simple. The din of neder, we'll get into some issues, but the kashas of the nodda Yehuda mean that most people chuck it out. But it's very simple. It's a neder, therefore it's also like a neder. You have all the kashas. So what do you do? But most poskim hold that it's Adam ne'eman al atzmo is the reason. The Chasam Sopher here. Hine bahata peshita la chazal. In many places, shavi nafshachit da'asura is pligi betam hadavar. It's a maklokas in the morning. Yeshamrim betam neder. So therefore, ilo havi omer hare ishti alike soita enu nereseres. The boy matbis v'davar haneder hanadur. This is the idea of the neder that that my wife is also to me like a soita. You have to actually hold a sota. For lo b'davar ha'aser aval ba'omer hare he soita. But if you just say she's a soita, she's been playing around v'hu yada ba'asma shalom matzah pesach patuach, so he knows that because he didn't find the pesach patuach. Rak amor kain. So if he knows himself, so he knows he's lying, right? So what's going to happen now if he's lying? He knows he's lying. Is it still? Can he eat this thing that he came out and said? Is also. Let's say you're gonna go. You don't like this restaurant, and you gonna go to Beis Din and say that they're feeding treif there. The burgers are still a treif, and you have a burger from them. Are you allowed to eat that? To eat it, or it's also you, but it's not also you because you're lying. So you never found a pesach pasuach. Rak amar kain mitzati kidei shitei soita alav. So he just said if that should be a soita. Hooray, nerasa kasoita deraisa. Because therefore, if you're on the tzad of it's a neder, therefore she's a soita deraisa. She'ein le neder ze heter. Because there's no heter because you said hooray he soita, and that's a shavi nafshachita da'asura. If he's there, misha ein a baki b'pesach pasuach v'toeh. So what do you have a guy? He doesn't know what he's doing. He makes a mistake. Or pesach pasuach masati. V'shov noide lo shetoeh. Then he finds out later he made a mistake. Shuv ein kan afilu neder betos sheharei lo neder klau. So this is all why he didn't make any excuses. Now here, the Chasam Sopher has to be learning in our Gemara. Now the Kamash Malan is saying that he's a boki. That even though you might think that he's not a boki, he is a boki. And therefore when he realizes that so Kamash Malan, she's still osir because he is a boki. And therefore when he realizes his mistake, then then we can go back. She's not usher anymore. But if it's because Kamash Milan, even though he's a safek, she's still usher to him, then who cares whether he made a mistake or not? Even though it's a safek to him, it's still usher to him when he was in safek. So davka iyadav she pesach sosum. It's only if he knows that it's closed. And Omer pesach basuch have neder, but lo zulazeh, nothing outside of the lefizeh afilu be beno lebein atzmo nami aser ba shegavar neder. So even if he did it just between himself, it's aser. Achish lomer neder di boy matbis bedavar hanoder davka elamitam hoidas baldin. So this is all. So the only way out of it would be that you need to have a matbis bedavar, and he didn't do it. But once in the neder, once he makes a neder, and if it's mitam neder, so therefore even if you're choizer, then it's still aser. But mitam hoidis baldin kamei edim damu sheharei hoida shebesa pasuach matzah. He agrees. V'keven shehagid shuveino choizer umagid. But now he goes to base there and he says that he can't return beli amalasa. So amalasa haroi. Yava amalasa haroi would be you have a good excuse as to why you said what you said. So we'll see with you have the shalish shuvas of the Ramah. Meaning Yitzchak Avinu. So what's Yitzchak? Im Rivka ishtoi b'shanaso es taimo lifnei Avimelech. So Yitzchak changed his tam before Avimelech. Yitzchak said, what did Yitzchak say? That Rivka is my sister. So when Yitzchak said that Rivka is my sister, Yishavi Anfsha Chaticha Da'asura. So why is he allowed now to boil her b'chlal? And he's in hiding with her. Even though himself. So the simple reason that you would come up with as to why Yitzchak was mutter to Rivka, even though he said she was shavi and afshe, because we hold of the din of Naaman alatzmo, and since he knows that it was just a joke or whatever, it's not true. Therefore, in Seiser, he's allowed to still have relations that he never really had shavi and afshe, because he never thought that she was actually yasser to him. So therefore, Naaman, he's not telling the truth. So it can't be Naaman alatzmo. He's not telling the truth. But Ela Shmamina de Miachu de Havile Amlasa. But he had the reason that the Ramah here gives is because Yitzchak had Amlasa. Kamosha Amar Ki Amarti Rak Ein Yiras Elokim B'Mokem Hazeh. The Have Shari. So since the reason, he said, why did you say that she was your sister? So it's not true that she's your sister. So Yitzchak must have a good reason why he said she was your sister, even though it's not true. And therefore he said, "Ein Yiras Elokim B'Mokem Hazeh." There, that it's mutter because I said that she was my sister only because there's no Yiras Hashem here, and that you would do things and all that stuff. So therefore, ve'im kain, harei hu adem b'nidon zeh. So the Ramah is tiny in that because the Amalas is the idea of good. You said what you said. Now you're chayzer on what you said. You need to have a good reason as to why you were telling fibs. And with the Chasam Sofer had a case of where the guy comes to town, they're living together, and says that she's my sister, and then she got pregnant, and then she says she's not actually my sister. I just wanted a reason why we're living together, and whether you can be matir them to get married or not, because it's already is she shavi and afshe, and again by din neder, there's no heter of that. How are you going to get out of it? But maybe by he says because magid shuvein nechoizer magid. Once you give your edus, you can't now give new edus if it's ne'emonis. But unless you have a good amalasa, the good amalasa will be, I said this to be true, and this is why. So it's not. I think in there he's saying, like, it's not a good amalasa that I just wanted to live in sin with this woman. That's why I said she's my sister. That's not a good amalasa. But here by Yaakov, the Ramah is saying it is a good amalasa. It's a good reason why I said this, even though it's not true. I had to say something in order to be untrue. So you have, for like a woman would say that she's tame in order that there was like a side reason why she didn't want to have bia, or she comes to town and says she's married because she doesn't want to be jumped on by people, and then it turns out she wasn't married. So she's trying to protect herself, and that would be a good reason why she can turn around. But here the Ramah is learning that it's a neder, because Pash Pshat of if it's just by ne'emonos, if it's just by ne'emonos, then there'd be no reason that you'll need an amalasa. You just say it's fine because he was doing it b'seisa, he was doing it in hiding where no one was looking, and therefore he should be able to to eat the treif or have the because when he said it was treif, he knows he was making it up. So therefore, if it's coming from that din, then he shouldn't need an amalasa. Okay, so another nafkamina, another shaila here on shavi nafshe Chathiqa da'asura is, can a goy, if a goy says he's Jewish, is it now also for you to use him as a Shabbos goy? Is he now got the din of a Jew? So Igros Moshe here just says machmashe nitvar she'eno ne'emenes ein shom chov lehafrisha mi'isr. So you don't have to basically you have to mafresh the goy from any isr ki shavi nafsh kedur leika ba'akum ki hu din rak Israel. So Moshe Feinstein's learning this whole thing only by Jews and not by goyim. It's a clear psak by Moshe Feinstein that there's no such thing as shavi nafshe by a goy. But the Har Tzvi has a different idea. Lefizeh mitoris terminehi de ba'alkum ma shayach shavi nafshe chaticha da'asura. Asking the question by a goy. Hine ki yadu nechlo gedolei hadoyrus b'taiman demilta the shavi nafshe chaticha da'asura mahani. Why does it work? Yishar me this because of neder, and Yishar me shehu mikom ne'emonis out of ne'emon and atzmo. And the ikar of the wonder by the akum is that it's not shaykh shavi nafshach chaticha da'asura elo eno ledas ha'omrim shehu mitem neder. So since a goy is not shaykh for neder, so therefore for sure there's no shavi nafshi by a goy. Aval shitas de zeh mishum ne'emonis yitachen loimer de gam malkum no hiksvar zu. So if it's because of ne'emonis, therefore by a goy also it works. Avadam ne'emon atzmo. A different name we see that in the Gos Ashreg, and that's the Rosh, that the goyim ain't pasulim le'edus min ha'Torah. The goy is not a derais is not pasul le'edus. She do it she'enum mikshakrin, where we know that they're not mishakrin, and we also see the din of a goy's maksak she'enu shakrim is kasherim le'edus, and it doesn't. Velo nearly lahakshir nachrim le'edus kevin she'enu b'chlal achicha velo adif me'eved. So it's a side reason why he doesn't want to have a goy as an aid. We see that there's a bezeh yesh lasver divrei ri ne'emon alatzmo velo alabonim. We see that basically that there's a ne'emonis by a ben Noach. We see in the Sefer Chinuch that she'akam nerog al pi hoidis atzmo onshimontoi. So there is a level of ne'emonis of the goy. So therefore, by a goy, there is such a din of shavi nafshe if you hold by this idea of ne'emonis. Now we already saw that Rav Moshe Feinstein doesn't hold of shavi nafshe. He holds that the whole reason is because of ne'emonis, but yet he holds that a goy doesn't have it. So he disagrees with this whole Torah, even though we see there is ne'emonis of a goy, that a ben Noach has edus and it has dinim, but by a goy, there's no din of shavi nafshe, but the Har Tzvi would say there is. Now in the Shev Shmaisa, he did Bekitzer in his Sheva Brochas, and then he built on them like in the rest of his life, and then he published them towards the end of his life. So here he deals with the question of what about am I allowed? So if the goy says, So here we have the goy says, I'm a Jew. So according to the Hartzvi, if we go by its ne'emonis, so therefore he can be Shavi Nafshe. So am I allowed to have him do Hilchos Shabbos even though I don't believe him? But by him it's also, so therefore you have a din of Messiah Lifnei Iver, that you're Mechshol Lefi Iver. So therefore if you have again you're a shoichet, the case comes up where you have a shoichet and he shechs all the animals and it says everything's kosher. The next day he comes and he says, I never checked this behemoth. So there, it's not he's not able to usher these things, so therefore he makes that usher for him. Now, since we poskin, the basic poskins that the meat's kosher, am I allowed to give him that piece of meat that's treif? Because it's lifnei iver, because him he says it's usher, but I hold it's mutter, so am I allowed to do it? So this is the Shesh Meister, which again says the Ketzois, and the Ketzois is going by Ne'emonis. It's only for him. There's no such thing for anyone else. And he name it time to shavi nefesh mitoris neder. Huvat tam ze b'maratet im kain kamo sheyachol la'aser adam al atzmo kamo kain yachol la'aser atzmo umimenu al acherim. So you can do it two ways. If it's neder, just like it's aser for you, I can aser my stuff to you. Just like I can also your stuff to me, so too I can also my stuff to you. But we see by Chaticha Shavi Anafshe, I can't also stuff to you. If I have Adis, or if I say that this is also, I only also it on myself. It's another time against Adam. We've already pushed away this whole idea of neder. Imishum neder imkain lishtelale, that you can get a hatara. Imkain de ena muteris neder ayin sham. Imkain ein iser ela la'atzmo v'lo la'achirim. Therefore, the iser is only to the person. The shavi nafshe is only for him and no one else. So you can't be matil and this iser on anybody else. Ela, but then he has this at the end. Ela de memela aser. It's still going to be aser to you. Only there's a man and a wife. The chol adam lavo aleh, to go on her. K'shamra eishes ishani. Once this woman says, "I'm an eishes ish," she's mutter to other people because she can't usher herself to other people. However, memela it's usher because of lifnei iver. And since so the Shmais is posting that it's a din of lifnei iver when it comes to shavi anafshe. So there's a maklokas if you have shavi anafshe against Adam, so then what the din is. So the Rashba is brought down here in the Mishnah Melech. It's Poshim Teshuvas Rashba. The Torah brings it down on the Tavach. So he's the butcher. Shamar al behema achash shohu lo shachta. So he never shachted this behema. Ubau Adam v'amru shohu shachta. The Adam come and say he did. So Adam versus him. V'hu oimer b'divarav, and he doesn't change his mind. V'oimer shelo shachta. He still says he doesn't. It's just v'rav chol alma muteres behema zu. So we have two Adam. Therefore klapei us it's mutter. The ha'ike Adam shachta. Aval l'didei, for him it's also the ha shavi nafshe chida da'isura adkan. So that's the Rashba saying that against Adam it's still, even though two Adam say what you're saying is also is mutter, it's still also to you. And so here in the Hartzvi you have Kat of Mishnah Melech Nesati b'chol milta damrin and shavi nafshe hechet de'ike Adam that machishamato. Do we say that since to him he made it a piece of Isser, it's Hoidus Baldin Kamea Adam for Usser. So he's like 100 Adam, therefore it's Usser. So that's why you would beat out the Adam. Or Dilma to call Ika the Adam, if you maybe even when the Adam are coming against him, for him it's mutter. So they're also in this Tabach B'didim said, and also so in the din is Poshut from to Shuvas Rashba. You should have the Cholama mutter Bahemazu. So we saw that. So the Trumas Hadeshen is l'chayra palik. Vanila de lo pligi the Trumas Hadeshen mayri k'shechoizer beli amalasa. So the Trumas Hadeshen says that the Adam are believed. So it's mutter. You go like the Adam. That's when you return without malasa. The azaim b'chozer klum, because when the chozer is not klum, medayim b'Israel me'ed aval kol heichad de'ika edem achishik matoy v'hu chozer bo, then it's a good chazara even without an amalasa. So when the Edom are against the person, if he is chayzer bo, so then it's mutter. There's no such din. But if you're not chayzer bo and you're oimed in your taniynã and you're still saying it's also, so even against Edom, oimed but different rishonim, it'd be moida to the Rashba that's also even on yourself. Now, again, as you said before, that the Iker is like that. It's ne'emanos, and it's nothing to do with neder. So therefore, since it's a din of ne'emanos, so therefore, again, if you're beseser, you know you're lying. So these isers don't chal. But when you're claiming that this is and you like believe what you're saying, so therefore you're believed klapa yourself, and you create this iser. Now the big problem is the way that the ne'emanos works is that basically you've just created a new issue. There's like there's two Torahs b'Yisrael, where this piece of meat I'm saying is also the base in Poskins is mutter. It's mutter for everybody else, but yet it's also for me. And the base din, if I start eating it, the base din is mechuyev to separate me from this iser. So you're creating an iser where there is no iser. And where did you get that koach? It's just, I'm believed. So the Ketuvot brings it from kihuzeh. Kihuzeh is where you have like an eid echod is machayev a shavua. Because you say kihuzeh and there's is a moide b'mixus. So he learns that that's the makor, so that you have that the Torah gives you edus. And that edus is able for you to usher things on yourself. Now, it's very different to a nazir, because when I say I'm a nazir and this wine is usher to me and mutter to everybody else, that's because the Torah has fixed it up. That's how it works. But here, in the case of xathikhah da'isura, I am delineating how it works and how it doesn't work. And that I've created an isser on this piece of meat that's completely mutter. And that's a big chiddush, which again, those issues you don't really have with neder, but neder has other issues. So still, whichever way you learn Chaticha Da'Isura, it's a bit problematic and it's a big chiddush.